Today there's news stories all over the New York Times and Washington Post about the different strategies that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have for the debates. Now, normally I think the debates are a little overhyped. They're fun to watch, but very rarely make a difference in the polling and the final outcome. Well, this year might be different because we have such an enormous wild card in the race with Donald Trump that the debates might make a giant difference. So they might either have Donald Trump plummet in the polls and end the race entirely, or it might recast the race completely. I really believe that. And anyone who's watched the Young Turks for a long time knows I do not normally say that. If we've got a close race, I'll tell you it's close. If you got a blowout, I'll tell you it's a blowout, and I'll tell it to you as soon as we have all the numbers. But right now, Donald Trump, amazingly, is closing in on Hillary Clinton in swing states like Ohio. And so these debates with giant expectations, everybody's going to be watching. Nobody has any idea what Donald Trump's going to say, could make all the difference. So what are their strategies, and are they good ones? First, let's go to the Washington Post and Hillary Clinton. They say Hillary Clinton is methodically preparing for the presidential debates as a veteran lawyer would approach her biggest trial. She pores over briefing books thick with policy arcana, opposition research. She internalizes tips from the most seasoned debate coaches in her party, as she rehearses over and over again to perfect the pacing and substance of her presentation. Now, I can give you details on this till the cows come home, because she's using Georgetown law professors that teach debating, and she's using her communications director and this and that, and 30 powerful people in Washington all coming in. Man, she is preparing like there's no tomorrow. And maybe there isn't. I mean, this is a very important thing. Is that the right strategy? We'll discuss that in a second. Now, on the other hand, Donald Trump is taking a different approach. He summons his informal band of counselors, including former New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani, a talk radio host Laura Ingraham, and ousted Fox News Channel chairman Roger Ailes, to his New Jersey golf course for Sunday chats. Over bacon cheeseburgers, hot dogs, and glasses of Coca-Cola, they test out zingers and chew over ways to refine the Republican nominee's pitch. Amazing. Everything about this election is amazing. So first of all, we told you Roger Ailes was advising him. He clearly is. Before they bothered to deny it, now apparently they're not denying it anymore. Secondly, that's not how you prepare for a debate. You know why Trump doesn't want to prepare in the normal way? He's not doing any of these mock debates where somebody stands in for Hillary Clinton. There's two different reporting, by the way. If they were to do that, they're either going to use Laura Ingraham, which is perfectly rational. By the way, it doesn't have to be a woman. But Laura Ingraham is a mean-spirited conservative who could play the role of Hillary Clinton and attack Donald Trump in a way that would prepare him. That makes some degree of sense. The other person he's thinking of using is Ivanka Trump. Don't use your daughter. He said, oh, she'd be really great at it. She'd be fantastic. It doesn't matter. He's not going to do it. You know why? He doesn't want to get embarrassed in front of his friends. Because if they do a mock debate, he'll get embarrassed. He won't be able to answer any of the questions. He figures, screw it. I practice zingers. I don't know policy. I'm never going to know policy. Studying policy has been irrelevant so far. I didn't know any policy, and I won the primaries easily. So I'm not going to do any of that. We're going to eat some bacon cheeseburgers, play some golf, and then I'm going to go out on the debate stage and see what happens. Republicans, this is who you put your fate in the hands of. Good luck. Okay, but it might not necessarily be the wrong idea. So let me give you more. Trump's aides have put together briefing books, not that the candidate is devoting much time to reading them. Trump is not holding any mock debates, proudly boasting that a performer with his talents does not need that sort of prepping. No, but Donald, this isn't just a performance. You have to if you want to be president, in the past, you had to actually know what the different policies of the United States are, what your policies are, what you'd like to change, what your opponent's policies are. It's like, no, it's just a performance. I'll wing it. It'll be all right. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. I think I've heard that somewhere before. Okay, now Jennifer Granholm is on Hillary Clinton's side, and she says, she's on the transition committee, in fact, she's the co-chair. People think that they have to land zingers and pivot and attack, and that's true, but ultimately you want your viewers to come away with a gut feeling that I like this person. Now, I actually like Jennifer Granholm a lot. I've said that many times, but I don't agree with that. And that made me really worry. Like, if Trump is going to attack her over and over again and Hillary Clinton's going to try to get people to like her, that's not going to end well. So you can study all the policy papers you want, but you got to get in there and show them why you can't vote for that monster Donald Trump or that buffoon Donald Trump. But hold, there's more. Okay, now back to Trump. Washington Post explains, they said Ailes shared war stories from campaigns past and insights into more cinematic elements of politics. The former Fox chief, engulfed in a sexual harassment scandal, has been in regular touch with Trump by phone, dispensing advice about television advertisements, speech lines, and Clinton attacks. The reason I read you that is because I'm a little worried about that. So Ailes is, yes, horrible on sexual harassment, horrible on everything. He ran a Fox News channel. He did communications for Nixon, Reagan, etc. But he is a relatively smart guy, does know the optics of the media and politics really, really well. So I wouldn't take that too lightly. Now, he has other ghouls and goblins on his side, Trump does. They explain on the periphery is David Bossie, president of the conservative group Citizens United, who's made a career of investigating the Clintons. Trump also seeks out Roger Stone, a controversial bon vivant and self-proclaimed political dirty trickster who has advised Trump for decades but no longer works for him. Sure, he doesn't. But in reality, they brag about how Roger Stone is doing operations for Donald Trump to this day and is clearly in touch with him. So he's got all these hatchet men that are giving him advice. So look, I think that the Stones of the world are way overhyped. He overhypes himself, and some of his dirty tricks are so ridiculous, so over the top, that finally he's beginning to lose credibility with anyone in the media. Okay, but at the same time, overall, especially Roger Ailes, knows how to attack people effectively. So be careful. Now, David Brock, running the pro-Clinton super PAC, says odds are name-calling backfires and false insinuation that Hillary is old and frail will be countered right on stage with her presence, which conveys the opposite. Okay, that's strike number 2. Name-calling does not backfire. It oftentimes works. It certainly worked in the Republican primaries. It doesn't mean that it's going to work in debates when it's one-on-one. And a lot of people make good points that Trump would get the name call and then sit back for 30 minutes while the other 10 guys spoke on stage. And he won't be able to hide behind those guys anymore. And it's 90 minutes every debate, so you'll have to hear from Trump a lot. And that name calling might wear thin. Or it might work. So be careful. Okay. Now, Trump, and again, it's not a concerted strategy. Okay, he's just a knucklehead who doesn't like to read. They say the only thing he does do in terms of policy while they're eating their bacon cheeseburgers is he watches cable news out of the corner of his eye. Okay, so here's his philosophy on this. This is Trump himself. He says, I believe you can prep too much for those things. It could be dangerous. You could sound scripted or phony, like you're trying to be someone you're not. Okay, yeah, all right, there's some truth in that. If you come in and you've memorized all your lines, you can sound robotic and fake and might not work. At the same time, hey, knucklehead, you might want to prepare a little bit. You might want to know 1 or 2 policies that the United States is involved in before you go into a national debate and embarrass yourself. Okay, and Talking Points member confirms, instead of holding mock debates as preparation, Trump has been hosting Sunday lunches with some of his advisors. All right, wonderful. Now, finally, we return to Mrs. Clinton for what I view to be actually a little bit of good news. So the New York Times explains, in compiling research to help Mrs. Clinton prepare, her advisors have cast a wide net. They contacted Tony Schwartz, the Art of the Deal co-author, to give them advice about Mr. Trump's this summer. Even though Mr. Schwartz's 18-month immersion in Mr. Trump's life and homes ended in the mid-1980s. So there's 2 things about that. One is, yes, they might be over-preparing because this Schwartz guy knew Trump a long time ago, but I'd rather be over-prepared than under-prepared. And Schwartz is the guy who wrote the best-selling book, Art of the Deal, with Trump. He wrote it for Trump. He now says he regrets that greatly and that Trump could best be described as a sociopath. That's why he's helping Hillary Clinton. And New York Times also says, Clinton advisors said Mr. Schwartz and other writers who had observed Mr. Trump up close, as well as unnamed psychology experts they had spoken to, were critical to understanding how to get under Mr. Trump's skin. Okay, that I like. Okay, again, you might be overdoing it with the psychology experts, etc., but at least you're out of the policy books. You need to know the policy books, but Hillary Clinton already knows them really, really well. And then you need to do real debating strategy and try to figure out which way he's going to come at you, which way are you going to be able to get under his skin and make him look bad. Now, the final part is very encouraging. The Clinton camp believes that Mr. Trump is most insecure about his intelligence, his net worth, and his image as a successful businessman. And those are the areas they are working with Mrs. Clinton to target. Bingo. We've got a winner. Okay. Yes, do that. Do a lot of that. That'll work. Because what you want is when a guy goes into the voting booth, that he can't bring himself to pull the lever for Donald Trump because he thinks, that guy. Not that that guy's a racist, that guy's a bigot, but that guy is incompetent. He's a bit of a knucklehead. He's a loser. Remember how he got embarrassed out there on the national stage and he didn't know anything and he tried to cover it up? Yes, go ahead and mock him. Yes, name-calling works sometimes. Know your stuff, then go out there and attack. Now, Trump, on the other hand, maybe Hillary Clinton over-focuses on the policy, tries to be too nice, and he lands a couple of zingers and he wins. It's possible. On the other hand, if I was a Republican, I would be screaming from the rooftops, prepare, you idiot, prepare. Don't go in there blind, you schmuck. But he's going to. It is going to be an extravaganza. I'll give him this. It's a train wreck I'm going to watch, and we're all going to watch. By the way, watch it with us at tytnetwork.com/live. We will definitely be carrying it live. We'll be doing play-by-play on it, and we'll tell you who's winning throughout. It is going to be a hell of a show. You're not a member of the Young Turks yet?
Come on, come on.
Now, when you join up, we're going to say,
oh, yeah, yeah.
We might even say,
there you go, baby. There you go.
Be the independent media. Be the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.